You look down at your wrist. You check your heavy gold Rolex. The metal shines under the bright lights, signaling success to everyone around you. Your friend stands next to you. He adjusts his thick gold eagle chain and flashes a massive diamond ring on his finger, smiling with total confidence. But imagine if we took all this wealth back 30,000 years into the Ice Age. Suddenly, you wouldn't just be single and looking for love. In a prehistoric hunter-gatherer tribe, your expensive watch and heavy jewelry would make you a complete joke.
The tribe wouldn't be impressed by your shiny rocks.
Today, a luxury watch signals safety, high status, and the ability to provide. But for 99% of human history, these heavy rocks strapped to your wrist were entirely useless. You cannot eat a diamond when you are starving, and you certainly cannot start a life-saving fire with a gold watch. When the winter winds howled, your modern wealth offered. So how did your ancient ancestors actually date? How did early humans find a mate when money, diamond rings, and bank accounts didn't even exist? How did they get married before churches, legal papers, or property laws were invented? Did they even understand the concept of marriage as we do today? To understand the strange, evolutionary truth about human love and connection, you first need to strip away everything you own. Let's drop you and your friend into an ancient camp. You step forward, showing off your thick gold chain, fully expecting the tribe to bow down. Instead of admiration, they stare at you in confusion. And then they start laughing. In fact, showing off your individual wealth could get you exiled into the freezing wilderness to die alone. Anthropologist Richard Lee observed this exact behavior in the modern Swansea hunter-gatherers. So if your modern wealth and arrogant flexing destroy group harmony, what actually makes you an attractive partner in the Ice Age? You look around the dark camp. A prehistoric woman is not looking for a millionaire with a shiny Patek Philippe or a diamond ring. She wants to see if you are the kind of person who will share your food. In 1972, anthropologist Marshall Solins famously called these ancient hunter-gatherers. He noted that they worked only a few hours a day and shared absolutely everything they had to ensure the group survived. In this frozen world, generosity was the ultimate currency. If you hoard a piece of meat for yourself, you are a terrible mate. But if you share your catch with everyone around the fire, you become highly desirable. Your ability to provide for others proves your worth. Prehistoric dating was never about finding someone to buy you a massive private cave or showing off heavy gold chains to impress your neighbors. It was about finding a reliable partner who absolutely would not let you starve when the brutal winter winds howled outside in the dark. But did these ancient humans actually get married? There were no diamond rings, no religious vows, and no legal papers to sign. Relationships during the harsh Pleistocene epoch were likely based on a flexible, natural concept that evolutionary scientists you partner up, you have a child, and you stay closely together while that child is young, weak, and highly vulnerable to predators. You might peacefully move on to another mate without the intense modern social stigma we often experience today when marriages fall apart. And you never had to raise the baby alone. The entire tribe shared the heavy burden and raised all the children together. Anthropologist Sarah Blaffer-Hrdy calls this evolutionary strategy alloparenting. Your child was. Everything changed about 12,000 years ago when humans stopped wandering and planted the very first fields of wheat to control their food supply. You built permanent fences, settled into muddy villages, and for the very first time in human history, you could actually claim to own land. You could harvest and store surplus grain in massive baskets. Suddenly, the ancient concept of pure equality vanished. Scholar Jared Diamond famously called this agricultural revolution the worst mistake in human history, fundamentally destroying our natural. Because with private property came sudden social inequality. Some farmers had vast fields and full bellies, while others had This completely destroyed the old dating rules. Now, who you chose to marry directly determined who controlled the valuable land. Women were no longer equal survival partners. They became tied to the men who controlled the vital resources, changing the power dynamic. Marriage was brutally transformed into a rigid, legal, and purely financial transaction. So that giant, sparkly diamond ring sitting proudly on your modern friend's finger, it is not actually an ancient symbol of pure, eternal romantic love. It is just a tiny, shiny echo of that dangerous agricultural trap, a modern receipt proving that someone has enough resource. This bizarre shift is exactly why modern dating often feels so incredibly exhausting, stressful, and unnatural for your brain is biologically wired for a world where connection was based on shared physical effort, deep, primal trust. But your modern environment forces you to date like a cold accountant, constantly weighing salaries, zip codes, and flashy status symbols before making a choice. You feel this heavy pressure to perform, to buy the most expensive luxury watch, and to constantly flex your artificial wealth on social media feeds. You are desperately trying to trigger an ancient feeling of safety using modern financial tools that your primal brain doesn't even actually recognize. So instead of finding a partner based on mutual survival and shared effort, you are forced to navigate a confusing maze of financial expectations. You find yourself desperately swiping through endless dating apps, constantly trying to prove your absolute worth with a shiny car or an expensive dinner. You are blindly using a deep ancient hunter-gatherer instinct in a bizarre modern world that was entirely built by those early property-obsessed farmers. He noted that they worked only a few hours a day and shared absolutely everything they had to ensure the group survived. Your ancient prehistoric ancestors survived the harsh conditions not because they were the strongest or the wealthiest individuals walking on the frozen tundra. They survived because they knew exactly how to build a warm fire, share their caught meat, and aggressively protect the entire tribe together. And the ancient people who successfully passed down their genes to you were the ones who truly valued community connection over personal selfishness. So the very next time you feel completely exhausted by the endless pressures of modern dating, social status, and flexing your expensive wealth, just remember that you are harshly judging yourself by artificial agricultural rules that were entirely invented only a few short. Your ancient brain is not actually broken. It is simply looking for a very different kind of primal safety that money absolutely cannot buy. It is constantly searching for the kind of deep, undeniable trust that kept your ancient ancestors alive. You do not need massive wealth. You just need to find someone who would gladly share their very last piece of food with you. So, you stand there next to your friend. He proudly polishes his massive diamond ring and adjusts his heavy gold chain once again. You look down at your wrist. You check your heavy gold Rolex. The metal shines under the bright lights, signaling success to everyone. But now you know the evolutionary truth. To find real human connection, you do not need a heavy watch. You just need the fire.